The women who became known as the Night Witches entered military aviation through a wartime structure that was both exceptional and urgent. Their entry into combat roles followed the creation of women's aviation regiments under Marina Raskova's influence, but the existence of those units did not lessen the pressures placed upon the women inside them. Once formed, the regiments had to turn enthusiasm, prior flying experience, and political opportunity into operational capability at a pace determined not by ideal training conditions, but by the demands of an ongoing war. This compressed transition matters because it changes the listener's sense of what competence meant in this context. These women were not moving into a stable training environment with generous margins for gradual development. They were being drawn into a system in which time was limited, expectations were high, and the consequences of insufficiency were immediate. Some entered with prior aviation backgrounds, others arrived with less practical depth than wartime operations would soon require. What united them was not uniform readiness, but the fact that readiness had to be produced quickly and under pressure. That pressure shaped both skill and mentality. Training in this context was not merely the acquisition of technical procedures, it was the narrowing of attention toward what could actually be controlled. Navigation, aircraft handling, communication, approach discipline, response to poor visibility, and the physical endurance required for repeated flight all had to move from instruction into habit. In conventional telling, wartime training can easily become montage, determination, practice, competence. In this case, that would flatten the reality. The speed of the transition was itself part of the story. These women were not given the luxury of becoming pilots in abstraction. They were becoming operators for a specific kind of work inside a war already underway. That is one reason the regiment's later discipline should not be treated as a natural extension of courage alone. Courage may help someone volunteer. It does not teach night navigation. It does not produce timing. It does not create the kind of consistency necessary for repeated sorties in fragile aircraft. Those capacities had to be built, corrected, and reinforced. The fact that they were built under wartime compression is part of what gives the regiment's later record its weight.